Welcome, everybody. Welcome to our presentation, SureDrop Reimagined. During this presentation, we're going to be talking about SureDrop for about 20 minutes. I've got some slides to present, and Adrian Tankard, a member of our team, will also be doing a small demo, and it's a pre-canned demo of what the new version of SureDrop looks like and some of the new features. So let's get into it. So what is SureDrop? So for those of you who are not aware of what SureDrop is a file sharing platform designed for sharing sensitive data. Secure by design, we use FIPS certified encryption, we support data sovereignty, and we do that by either running on premises or in your own private cloud within the country you're hosted in. We support a full audit trail, and we have full Microsoft integration. So for those of you who do work with Office 365 and OneDrive, we have full integration into Office 365, single sign-on, Active Directory, and the full suite of Office 365 products. So integration with Word and Excel, etc. Quick screenshot of what the new version looks like. Most of you will see this as being pretty familiar. For those of you who haven't seen it before, on the left-hand side, we have a series of secure groups. That is basically our security context, and it's where we secure information with their own private key. Each group has its own private key. In the middle, you see files and folders. That should look very familiar to most people. And on the right-hand side, we have the ability to collaborate with messages, and it also gives the rolling activity update of things that are actually going on. So let's have a chat about some of the things we've done. So this new version is the completion of 18 months worth of development. And we've done a whole host of features, over 100 plus individual enhancements across the board throughout the entire application. So what I'm going to do today is just briefly chat about some of the major enhancements within the 14 different feature areas that you can see up here on the screen. So essentially, I'll just go through all of these briefly. If you have any questions, please throw them into the Q&A. Adrian will answer them on the fly. He's available. And at the end, if there's any time left, we'll also open the floor up for questions as well. All right, so starting with security and compliance. So we've always been FIPS certified. We've introduced a brand new FIPS certification library. It's been certified all the way through to FIPS certification level 2. We've also introduced rolling key rotations and database encryption with also CAT validation. So these are enhancements to our FIPS encryption. And as well as that, we've also enhanced a lot of the back-end encryption as well, such as encrypted databases and RSA wrappers. Threat protection. So we've had virus scanning for a while now. We're actually done a complete revamp of the virus scanning back-end architecture. So now we can virus scan a lot more intelligently. We can do it a lot faster than we ever did before. We still have the ICAP integration. That's also been streamlined as well. And also the way that viruses are flagged and alerted in the user interface has also been enhanced. So now it's a lot clearer if a file's been infected. And also we can actually give forensics users the ability to delete or quarantine those files. All right, so authentication and access. We've had 2FA obviously pretty much since the product started over 10 years ago. But now we've added some extra features to our local users. So we support single sign-on, and we've always supported single sign-on 2FA, single sign-on user expiry, single sign-on password requirements, etc. But for those of you who don't want to use single sign-on, we've now enhanced our local user security to handle some of those things which were previously or traditionally done by the single sign-on providers, such as user exploration, session hardening. We have QR burn prevention, so it stops people reusing QR codes. And we also do password rotation on 2FA as well. Sharing enhancements, we've done a lot to enhance the ad hoc sharing. So previously with ad hoc sharing, when you shared a folder, the users would really only get the option to download the entire folder as a zip file. We've completely enhanced the sharing experience now. So end users now have the ability to break open a folder and to browse through the contents of a folder and actually only download one file that they're particularly interested in. They still have the ability to download the entire folder if they want, but now they can actually browse into it and just find the file that they're interested in. We've also added uh, email verification for ad hoc shares, and that can be set as mandatory on at the company level. And we've also put in enforced passwords, which can also be set at the company level, as well as password strength enforcement. User experience, lots of changes here, lots of small changes here. The biggest change we've done here is the performance. So we've put a lot of work into improving the performance. We have a 30% improvement in performance across the board for all UX experiences. So display of files, displays of folders, displays of groups. We've done huge enhancements to managing users. Now we can handle up to 5,000 users, local users, and the response is brilliant, fast, brilliant, snappy, and you'll find it's a pleasure to use now. Invitation links, modern office icons, responsive design, all these changes that we have actually put into it over the past 18 months. For those of you who are using My Documents groups, which is a feature that you can turn on at the company level, My Documents for those people who are not familiar with it, they allow users to have their own private document store. Not everybody wants this particular feature, so it can be turned on and off at the company level. One of the things that we've done now is that if you clone a user, you can actually clone the My Documents folder. So you can actually create a user as a template user with a My Documents folder with template documents in it, and you can clone that user for new documents, for new users. Um, Also, if users want to change their username, you can clone the entire user, including their My Documents folder, and everything will transfer across, including their group membership. We also have the ability to do bulk import of users from CSV files, and that's especially useful for those people that, once again, don't want to use single sign-on, would like to use local users, but they want to, import 100, 200 users that are being exported from their local IDP. All right, so for those of you who are using Office 365 integration or Entra as a single sign-on provider, um, we've done a lot of improvements to the Azure AD Sync in the background. It's a lot more robust. The efficiency and performance of the sync has been improved as well. And we've also done a lot of improvements to the WAPI Office Online. So for those of you who are not familiar with WAPI, WAPI is the protocol that Microsoft exposes to allow third-party products such as ourselves access to Office 365. So WAPI is what gives us the ability to allow you to open a Word document that lives inside SureDrop in Office 365 Word, for instance, or Excel, but have the document reside back in SureDrop rather than in Office 365. So we've done a lot of work in the stability. We've worked with Microsoft on that. They've been very responsive. And the interface there has once again been improved in stability and performance. So admin tools. So we now have the ability to ship SureDrop in a VMware OVA for those people who want to do a provisioning inside their VMware infrastructure stack. Uh, we've still got full audit trail IP logging for every action, and we've always supported Splunk and Syslog. Now we also provide a third-party tool to enable you to interface from SureDrop into a third-party log ingester that may not be one of those two. On top of that, we've also enhanced reports within SureDrop to allow you to export data in CSV format directly from the UX. So that allows you to download information directly into Excel and to do some cutting, dicing, and slicing of that data. And that's especially powerful when you want to do some reports on users within the system. For instance, you want to check when the last time was that someone logged in or who hasn't logged in at all. You can actually download the users as a CSV, put them into Excel spreadsheet, sort on those columns, and actually sort those users to the top. We've done a lot of work in improving our internationalization. Um, as you've probably found, internationalization is a complex topic. We support 15 character sets. Um, we've done a lot of fixes to try and improve some of those words within those character sets, which are close but maybe not spot on. Um, Once again, we always encourage people if they see something in the language of their choice that isn't quite right, to please let us know. From a developer point of view, we've done a lot of work here as well. So for those organizations that are interested in integrating SureDrop at the API level into some of their existing products, we've done a lot of work here to provide to you a much more streamlined experience for that. So on top of a much more comprehensive Swagger docs, we also have now provided SDKs in JavaScript or TypeScript, Python, and .NET. If you have any other languages which you'd like us to provide an SDK for you, please let us know, and we're more than happy to provide that to you. All right, so platform features. So essentially, what we've done here is we've streamlined a lot of things and actually made things more performant. So, in terms of uploads, my documents, member visibility, sticky sessions, same site cookies, what we've done here is a whole host of improvements across the board. Compliance and government. We are obviously, because of our relationship with AUKUS and our provisioning of SureDrop to them as their file sharing tool here in Australia, we now have a very comprehensive ITAR workflow, which is actually being driven by them, of course. This is actually not available to a standard implementation. You must ask us to have this turned on. Um, but if you do and you have a requirement for ITAR workflows, talk to us and we can turn that on for you. And we have full ITAR workflow, ITAR notifications, and ITAR audit trail. We also have a lot of improvements in terms of document purging and share cleanups and data retention, which is specifically related to the ITAR requirements as well. So, like I said, if anybody who is watching this presentation has a requirement for ITAR, please reach out and contact us, and we can work with you to turn it on and facilitate that functionality for you. All right, now I've already talked about performance and reliability. This is very exciting. I'm very excited to talk about this. So the JavaScript optimization, chunk transfers, we've optimized the queries. Everything is more performant. Everything is faster. Everything is snappier. So I think you'll find a substantial difference, certainly in your perceived performance in the way files and folders display, how long it takes for them to display, especially for groups or files and folders where there are a lot of files or a lot of folders and traditionally may have taken a few seconds to appear, much, much quicker now. And reporting and analytics, and I have touched on this a little bit. So we've really improved the reports within the UX, especially to give you access to the data such as user reports and audit reports. Uh, we have storage analytics now, and we also have security reports for failed logins, password resets, event tracking, and so on. So you should find this all very useful, and it's something that users have been asking for a while. So that's the end of the slide part of the presentation. Please, 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 if you'd like more information or you'd like to book a demo, please drop us an email at talktoanexpert@senetas.com. And what I'll do now is I will flick across to our demo. And then the demo is being run. It's a pre-canned demo and it's been recorded by one of our team members, Adrian Tankard. And Adrian is someone you'll meet. Adrian is responsible for most of the customer interaction. He's head of QA here at Senetas for SureDrop. And you'll find him the most politest and knowledgeable guy you'll ever meet when it comes to SureDrop. So let's kick off the demo.
My name's Adrian from SureDrop, and today I'm going to show you some of the new features that we have in our release. As you can see, I've logged in to SureDrop, and the features I'm going to show you are on our admin page. So the first feature is located in this user actions button over here. We have this option now to download the users to a CSV file. So that will download the username, the status, their role, their email address, all the stuff you see on the screen here, as well as some other ones like the last time they logged in and the time that they were created. So with that data, you could then do things like, find all these pending requests where people have not just accepted the invitation. And once you found them, you could decide what to do with them, maybe send them another email, perhaps delete them. Or you could find someone perhaps who hasn't logged in for the last 3 months, and you might decide that they need to be deactivated. The other features that we have are located on these team-wide settings. So if I go towards the bottom, there's these 2 new options here. So we've got require password on all shares. That means that anyone who does a share will be required to add a strong password. Whereas previously it was optional. And there's also the option to verify the email address of the person accessing the share. And I'll show you that as well. So let's go back to the documents page and I will share this folder here, lots of small files. So click that and go share. And I'm going to send it to my testing email address. I'll put in a message. And you can see in step 6 here, now we are required to put a password in and we cannot click that share button until it is done. And we need to get that bar underneath nice and green so it's nice and strong password. Send that. Wait for our message. Great. And here's our email. Go to the sharing page and we'll instantly met with having to authorize this, which means verify our email address. So I'll send that message off. Back over here on the email page. And here is our access. See that it expires for 15 minutes, so I've got to approve this. All right, been authorized, so I can close this tab and go back. And as you can see, it's progressed on now. And we need to put in the correct password to access the share. All right. Here is our new sharing page, our new shared documents page. As you can see, I've shared that folder called lots of small files, and it has a subfolder in it, and it has all these small files in there. When you shared a folder previously, you used to have to download, as an end user, you'd have to download all the files in there. Now you can pick and choose which files you want to download. So you don't have to download them all. And you can even drill down into these subfolders and download just the files that you would like to download. If you do want to download them all, no problem. There's still that download folder as a zip option. All right, going back to SureDrop over here, and I'll click on the admin page again. All right, so perhaps one of the other things that we need is to retain the private folder documents of a user. Perhaps they've left the company, for instance, or they've moved to another part of the company who doesn't use SureDrop. So we can click this option here, and I want to preserve any private documents that they might have. So I can click this option here called Copy My Documents. So it's going to create a group on the documents page called My Documents, .ustandard1, and it will copy in all the groups, the files and folders of that user from their personal directory. So here's that group. And if I click on it, we can see it's copying those files right now. Right, so it probably hasn't finished. Could take a while depending how many files are in there, or it could be quite quick if there's quite a few, not many. What you can do with this, you can keep it here, or you might want to allocate it to somebody else. Perhaps somebody else is going to, continue working with this. So you can just add them as a user of this group. All right. So if we go back to the admin page, another feature that you might need to do is send this to somebody else. For example, perhaps someone's changed their username, or your username is an email address and the company's changed their email address. So we can't change the username here, because it's already set up to work quite strongly with that. But what we could do is then just copy it to somebody else. So we can clone the user, and we can put in the new username. So clone.username3, for instance. And fill out the rest of the details. And then down here, we got the user expiry date. So this is also a new field. Perhaps they're a contractor and they have a solid end date where we don't want them to access SureDrop anymore. So we can set that as well. So on the 30th of the 6th UTC time, this user will be automatically deactivated. Now, because we're going to be copying everything to this user, what it does is it creates this new user. It will add them to exactly the same groups that this current user is allocated to, so user standard 1. And we also want them to have access to their whatever files are in the My Documents directory. So we check the option, Copy My Documents. Click Add. So that will create that user and copy over the files, send a new email invitation to them that they would have to accept and set the password so they can get access to everything again. Okay, so another thing that you may need to do is to delete the content of someone's My Documents directory. If that need arises, that option is now available here. Another feature you might need to do is you've got a new user who's coming on board, and they need to be in exactly the same groups as, say, docu user power 1. So if we wanted to use them as a template, we could go clone user, just like before, and put in the new user's details. So they'll be added to the same groups, but what we don't do is check copy my documents. Otherwise, they'd get access to all those personal documents that this user currently has. So that would be then just created as soon as they log in. They'll have access automatically to whatever groups that that user has access to.
Great. Well, that was a great presentation by Adrian. Thank you, Adrian. He's on this call. So let's just open it up for Q&A. I'm just looking at the time. We have maybe a minute or so. I'll just see. We've got one question coming in from Maria. If someone leaves the company, then what processes should I do to ensure important files are not lost? Okay. So that's actually a really good question. So files that need to be retained in the user's My Files group. Essentially, the admin can go in, and as you just saw there with Adrian doing, you can copy their My Files from their My Documents folder into another group where you can actually do with it what you will. Um, so we never have the opportunity or the situation where someone will leave the company and we will lose access to their files. We've got time for one more question. Uh, Kevin, with group key rotation, are the previous keys still required? How are they accessed and stored, and how often are they rotated? Is potentially having a large number of keys a problem? No. Okay, great. All right, that's actually a really good question, Kevin. Quite technical. Um, yeah, so the way we do keys now, we have a rolling key rotation. Keys roll every 24 hours within a security group. So all files within that 24-hour period are all encrypted with the same key, and then at 24-hour period, it rolls over to a new key. But we actually keep copies of all those old keys, of course. So that means that all those previous documents are still actually available to be decrypted. But if a key ever leaks, then worst case scenario, they might get access to 24 hours worth of data. In terms of performance, the keys are stored in an index database. It's literally nanoseconds to choose a key and apply it to decrypt the file. The encryption itself takes a little bit longer, of course. Um, so I think that's probably all we have time for in terms of questions. Thank you very much for joining us today. Just remember that you can book a demo by emailing talktoanexpert@senetas.com. Um, and of course, we will share a copy of this recording and a copy of the slides. Thank you very much for joining us, and we hope to talk to you soon.